Hello, welcome. This is a sweet, deep, gentle, loving practice. I just got a really sweet accolade or thank you from someone here in the live class. And I know this to be true, that the space that I hold, and actually we all hold for you, and you, it's valuable, it's needed. And it comes from this deep, deep wellspring of love. Like there's never a question for me as to why or for whom I show up. Um, this deepest form of love is called prema. And prema in the yogic tradition and in the Advaita Vedanta and the non-dual tantra practices, it encompasses this knowing that there is a source of love that lives within us, and that highest source of love is like truly the it to get. If there's anything ever to get, it's to come back to that place where you can feel that like tender, loving, like just sacred space within yourself. So a lot of days we're not there. We don't wake up going, wow, this is awesome. I signed up for this. I am so in love with life. I am so grateful with life. Yeah. But there are days, there's times. Uh, I can think of one. It was the oddest time ever. And I just had the most beautiful day in Chichen Itza in Mexico, being guided by this beautiful local Mayan. And it was just me and Elizabeth and this amazing guide. And we went up to all the temples, and he played songs, and we did ceremony, and he made little arrowheads out of the obsidian he found on the path. And we just had this really high day where you connected to and remembered that there's so much out there, and that our ancient ones have honored the Great Spirit. And they literally climbed the temple of the sun in the morning, and they climbed the temple of the moon at night, and they opened up to that majesty. And so by the end of this big, powerful, hot, intense, magical, like draining, epic day, we went back to the place where Don Miguel Ruiz created his sanctuary there. And I sat down and I just wanted to meditate and bring in all the feeling, all the joy, all the love, all the beauty, all the magic, and I'd even run across a traveler in the day who had passed out halfway up the Temple of the Sun and in her own vomit. And every person kept passing her by. And I just stopped and I was stunned. I was like, how are these people just passing this woman by? Nobody wanted anything to do with it except for me. And I wound up having this really just insanely intense, but very beautiful exchange. And we got her down and all was well. But so I was integrating a lot. And I dropped in and I really just was feeling the entirety of it, because there's highs and there's lows, there's intense, there's good. And as I was dropping in, and I really found like, because what the tantrics know how to do is you take any experience, any person, anything that elevates your consciousness, and you can think about it, and you can remove the name, the label, the experience, and you can drop in and feel that pulsation moving in your being. And so I dropped into the energy of just the love of the day. And I kid you not, from this place of deep prema, the deepest love, like the deepest knowing, like, wow, what a gift. I opened my eyes And there was this freaking turkey sitting like right in front of my face. And I'm not kidding. He was like, like right there. And he was staring me down. And this beautiful turkey with this purple neck and just like this rad, like being. And I was like, wow. And it just like sealed the deal for me that if you drop into that heart space where you can honor and recognize the highest love that is flowing, magic will happen. And the universe will show you things that might freak you out at some point, or it may never not happen. Like, who's going to like open their eyes and have a turkey sitting with them in love, really? And he and I just stared at each other, and I will never forget that day. And in fact, I've never eaten turkey since then. I'm going to take and make a blanket roll. Take 2 blocks behind you. All right. It's really interesting. Okay. So I had an earring fall out during practice, and this particular earring was made by a student of mine named Chaska. And when people make you things and they give them to you, that it means something really special. So oftentimes a way to remember prema, the highest love, like that devotional, like, wow, I love you, like, thank you kind of love, is to place something at the head of your sticky mat, and you'll never forget it. It could be a ring. It could be a Kermit the Frog. It could be a rock. It could be a lock of hair. I don't know. Could be nothing. You don't have anything accessible. And then as you take this blanket behind your knees, smash it up in there as far as you can. If possible, hold the edges of your blanket and pull them forward towards your earlobes with both hands. This is hard for some people, I get it. Push down through the blanket. So you're going to pin it, and you got to lift your chest and your head up, so that when you reach your hips back, that blanket has been lovingly held behind the knees. And we're going to keep the hands forward for now. Make sure, if you can feel what your feet are doing, try to spread your toes and squeeze your ankles towards the midline between. Now puff up the kidneys. So push the hands down and breathe into the tender belly. Allow your hips to get a little heavier. So gently push the floor down and forward, and see if you can smash your calves in such a way that you can still breathe. And this might be where you stay. You could stay here, you can breathe here if you want to follow me, or bringing hands up to thighs. And this is going to require some trust on your part to really just know that your legs are safe. If it feels like things are going to break, honor that. Top of the throat pulls back, so the center of the ear lines up with your outer shoulder. And then we'll look back and find 1 block. If you want to go to this next level, you do not have to. Yeah. Take the fullness of your low belly. So support the body from inside. You are strong. Love is strong. It's unwavering. That is prema. It is never going to fail you. So And then lift up into that fullness. Pull the top of your throat back and your ear back, and maybe left hand finds the block behind you as well. But you've got to know the heart is being held by your core, the neck is being held by your core, your whole pose is being held by the love of your breath. Trust your legs, trust your lower body, and lift the heart up, 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 out, 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 out. My goodness. Walk the hands forward. Tuck your toes. That was kind of mean, wasn't it? That was ruthless love. That's one of the reasons you love me. Yeah, no, just see if you can get a little toe stretch. Now, if you've got bunions, this is not going to work for you. So do not do this if you have bunions, please. No pain in your big toe joint. That's just not okay. So if you do have bunions, you can point the toes, shoelace side down. Yeah. All right, round 2. Here we go. Forehead to the earth. Take that blanket roll halfway down your calf muscle, so it's just a few inches lower. Pin it down. Sit down. This one, depending on you, is going to feel better than that last one. Yeah. Hands forward. And here's a good one. With the hands down on the floor like this, we can take a moment and a deep love of the earth pose. Prema Bhumi. Bhumi is earth. Prema Bhumi. Asana. Make this a pose of deep love to the earth. Like, and you know, those moments when you've been in the belly of the earth and you've just had your heart blown open, and yet that love still lives inside you. You can conjure it up anytime, anywhere, any place you want to. That is the power that you hold. That is love coming to serve you. If you would like, you can lift up. Oh. Uh-huh. Now we'll go the other way. So hand back. Be sure low belly is breathing into lower back. Tailbone is pulling towards heels. The kidney loop on the left is filling in to open the heart. And then the throat back, ears back, and maybe right hand reaches back. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Sink down a little deeper. So hopefully your hamstrings have now receiving some of the goodness. Anchor the hips, lift up through the heart. Come back to that deep love of the earth. And help yourself forward. And go ahead, and if you're we'll change it up. If you've got a bunion, just don't put pressure. Just give your feet a break, your ankles a break. If you don't, you can reach back and get a little toe stretch. Everyone, try to make sure the third and fourth toe are the joints that you're most actively reaching into. Inhale forward. Point your toes. Forehead down. Take your blanket roll all the way to your Achilles tendon. Right on the back of your ankle. Point your shoelace side down, and then can you spread all 10 toenails down into the sticky mat? Hips to heels, or for me, my hips are between my inner heels. I'm more Vajrasana style.
Make sure the feet aren't doing weird things. So keep the space from the heel to the big toe even. Heel to the baby toe even. That's mountain pose foot. Prema Bhumiasana. Just deep breath in. Full breath out. And if you're slowly climbing up, keep the core strong. You can peel and lift up from the strength of the core. Open the heart. Reach one hand back. Lift that kidney, top of the throat back, second hand back. And it's a big, deep quad stretch. If this is not happening for your knees, lift up and stand on your knees and get a shoulder opener. Inhale, help yourself up. All right. This blanket roll now serves a purpose behind you. On the ground. Heels on the blanket, toes on the floor. Bend your knees, hips up and back, downward dog. Heels rooting into the blanket. Inhale, down to the ground. Keep one block handy at the front of your mat. The blanket can now become a pad for your knees. Right foot forward. No, left foot forward, right leg back, please. Back out of your deepest lunge. You can take a block on high if you're feeling tight and stiff today. Pick up your knee, turn the femur bone in, hip forward, and set the knee down. Drag that knee forward. Yeah. And then push the hip back to your heel. If you want, you'll switch hands. So right hand's going to reach back and find your foot. Push the hip all the way to your heel. If you're not getting your heel to your glute, push the hip back and then bend your elbow. If that works, stay there. And if you'd like to, push your front heel down into the mat, drag it back, and try to extend your left sit bone. That's that front sit bone to your left knee. So it's called thigh loop. And you can pull the heel to your buttocks, and it's a deep stretch. Press the hips back, release your foot. Pick up the back knee. Parsvottanasana, either with blocks or not. One way or another, over time, the seasoned yogi, the one who shows up and commits to the practice regardless of the modifications they have to make or the success they feel they have or not. What happens is we start to learn to truly love the practice. That's my mom. Hi, Mom. Hang up on Mom. Love you. All right, switch legs, please. So regardless of what happens on the mat, we learn to bring Prema to the mat. We learn to fall in love with what's been offered and find a way to be gracious. It happens over time. pull your heel in, stretch your hips back, switch the right hand for the left. And with just sweetness, reach back there and see. If you can find your foot, great. If you can't, don't worry about it. And keep pushing the hips back to the heel first. That's the first thing. If you got to do this on your belly, go down to your belly. Now, if you can, you'll pull the belly button up so your waistline is full. Wrap that front hip down and towards your front knee and see if you can deepen that. Lift your elbow. Inhale, hips back. Exhale, release. Build your pyramid pose, one breath at a time. I was just reminded of a time I was in I was at the Masada in Israel, and I got left by my group. Got left by my group in the middle of the desert for hours. Okay. Downward dog. Imagine the trippy stuff that goes through your mind if you've been left in the middle of the desert for hours, just wondering. And that was the time before cell phones. Downward dog. And talk about getting clear with what do you love, what means something to you, and what if you never get to see it again, and how are you going to get out of there, and who's on your team, right? And at some point you surrender and you trust. That's prema right there. That energy that allows you to lean into the love net of universal consciousness that's holding you no matter what. Inhale to your knees. And exhale, child's pose. Let out a big sigh. In our modern culture, we get really hung up on love as an external resource. And I thank you for the love I feel coming back and the energy we grow and share. Namaste.